We hear the word meta a lot in Call of Duty. Which gun is the meta gun? And generally speaking, the meta gun is whatever gun is seen as the best option for taking the game seriously and performing to your maximum ability. Well, today we're going to take a look through COD history and talk about the main meta gun in every Call of Duty from COD 4 all the way to Black Ops 6. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. And you let me know in the comments what meta gun was your favorite, what meta gun actually means to you. Drop a like on the video. And we start with Call of Duty 4. The M16, the easiest pick probably of the entire video. It dominated the multiplayer in COD 4 and Modern Warfare Remastered. It's easily the most meta pick of all the guns in the game. 3-round burst rifle. Only needed 2 bullets to connect in order to kill a full health enemy, and that's crazy to say. With how low the recoil was, it was easy to beam people from across the map and delete them before they could possibly react. The COD M16 easily takes the spot today. And the next entry on the list is also going to be pretty obvious if you know your COD history. But if you wanted to argue the other way, tell me one other gun in COD 4 that could have went up as the meta gun against the M16. World at War. The MP40. This was the first overpowered SMG in COD history, and it remains one of the most ridiculous ever. The World at War MP40 had a relatively low rate of fire, pretty bouncy recoil, doesn't sound that great. Damage profile, though, could two-shot enemies without stopping power, which made it very popular for running around the map holding down the right trigger with a drum mag and steady aim. The MP40 completely dominated the multiplayer from day one. It's definitely the meta gun. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor and go subscribe to the Chaos Let's Play channel. We are actively doing a full GTA 5 Let's Play, a Resident Evil 7 Let's Play, and we just got done with Warhammer Space Marine 2. You can go over there and comment video suggestions and Let's Plays just like you do here on the main channel. The link is at the top of the description. I hope to see you guys over there. Modern Warfare 2 2009. The UMP-45, specifically with a silencer and stopping power pro. It was one of the most ridiculous SMGs in COD history because it's basically just the World at War MP40, but in a much faster paced game with way more attachment choices. Had a relatively low rate of fire, once again, bouncy recoil like the MP40, and insane damage. 2-tap people from across the map, I'm serious. Modern Warfare 2 had a ton of great weapons. Everyone knows all the secrets about the game and the fact that everything was overpowered. But if I had to pick one gun that was the meta for multiplayer, I'm gonna go with the UMP, and I know that's gonna be a hot take. Black Ops. The FAMAS. With a fire rate of 937 rounds per minute, a damage profile that could kill in 3 to 4 shots, it's hard to justify not taking the FAMAS into battle if you're trying to maximize your skills and if you just love the sound of melting metal. It was absolutely the best gun in the game. Obviously the tryhard's gun of choice. Insane potential, versatility, it just across the board. I was always personally an AUG guy. I was the AUG club, but even I can admit the FAMAS belongs on today's list. Modern Warfare 3 2011. The ACR 6.8. You probably thought the ACR should have been picked in Modern Warfare 2, but I digress. It was extremely strong in Modern Warfare 2, almost named it the meta weapon. But it was even better in the next game where it was reworked into the ACR 6.8, and I absolutely think this rifle was the main meta choice of the game. The ACR 6.8 had a moderate rate of fire, 0 recoil, but it was also a 3 to 4 shot kill on top of that, which that made it versatile. You could even score a 2-shot kill in close range encounters as long as you hit 1 headshot, which made it kind of insane. Some would argue the MP7 was the meta weapon. I could see that, but I would argue the ACR deserves a spot even more because of its insane range and ease of use. The MP7, also a beast, but it would also require a bit more accuracy at mid-range and longer, whereas the ACR would just delete them in a half a second. It didn't matter the range. Black Ops 2. This is tough. I'm going to go with the M8A1. It was a much higher skill weapon than the ACR, and that's part of the reason people loved it. Strong, ridiculous time to kill if you landed all your shots in your burst, but it actually had a bit of a learning curve because of the burst timing and the recoil pattern. You couldn't just run around, hold down the trigger like other meta weapons we talk about. You would have to learn how to control your recoil in short bursts. You had to nail that timing between each burst fire. If you were able to do that, you would have one of the best TTK values in the entire game. Not to mention being really satisfying. The gun was a huge part of the competitive COD history. COD Ghosts. The MTAR-X. This gun was so much fun to use, even if we all knew it was a little too good. It was a submachine gun in Ghost that many competitive players still consider to be one of the best SMGs in the franchise. Movement speed's incredible, recoil low, range drop-off super generous. You could easily use it at mid-range or even longer without being at a major disadvantage compared to the rifles. The MTAR-X slapped. Easily the most meta gun in the game. I mean, if there's another one, you let me know. I saw a ton of this gun when I was with Team Caliber. Advanced Warfare. Duh. Argue the other side. You'll say the ASM one probably. The BAL 27. Come on. Best gun, hands down. Damage, versatility. I don't even really want to talk about it because we've talked about it so many times. Whether you're playing public matches, competitive ones, it didn't matter. Every situation, no drawbacks, didn't kick, wasn't heavy, didn't have a long reload. We're just going to move on. Black Ops 3. The M8 A7. The M8 was slightly nerfed from Black Ops 2 when it was remade for the future setting, but it was still the most meta gun in the game if you ask me. Once again, 4-round burst, awkward burst timing that you would have to get good at controlling in order to take full advantage of its power. But if you had a good aim, and if you mastered the timing of the burst, it had an incredible time to kill. It was not an easy gun to get really good with, but it was a super fun gun to use, and it was really, really satisfying once you got the hang of it. Infinite Warfare. The K-Bar 32. Now, you may have expected the MV4 here, but I'm actually going to go with the K-Bar because even though the MV4 was the easier of the two to use, the K-Bar had a bit more respect on its name. It was the only rifle in the game that really compared to the MV4 in terms of stats and how much it got used online and at competitive events. Fired slightly faster than the MV4 at the cost of higher recoil, but once you mastered the pattern, it was arguably even more versatile than the MV4. Close range time to kill was good. The long range TTK was extremely good. So no, it wasn't the most popular gun in the game, but I would argue it was the best meta gun because of the added layer of respect that the MV4 didn't have. Anyone could use the MV4 well. Not everybody could use the K-Bar well. Call of Duty World War II. The PPSH-41. Now, the rifle meta changed a bit throughout the life cycle of this game, but the SMG meta was basically unchanged from start to finish. I know Sledgehammer added a lot of new SMGs to the game as DLC, but the PPSH was the best SMG on launch day, and it's still statistically best in the game today because Sledgehammer never really cared that much about nerfing it, despite it being the only submachine gun you ever saw in competitive play. The meta rifle changed every month or two back in COD World War II. But if you were a competitive player, you were probably using the PPSH through and through. Black Ops 4. The SOG 9mm. Much like COD World War II, the rifle meta changed every now and again in Black Ops 4, but that SMG meta, same as day one. Give or take the VMP. Sometimes the meta assault rifle would be the Rampart. Sometimes it would be the ICR. Sometimes it would be the Maddox. But the meta SMG was always the SOG, specifically with Stock 2. If you were taking Black Ops 4 seriously, you had to be good with the SOG. Close range power, mid and long range power, respectable if you could stay on target. Movement speeds were ridiculously fast. You could zip around every corner with no consequence. And speaking of SMGs that were probably a little too meta, Modern Warfare 2019. The MB5. Again, this is an SMG that was the best in its class on day one. It's been the best in its class ever since. The MP5 has appeared on a lot of Call of Duty games. It's often seen as one of the sweatiest guns in the franchise. And that trend started... it started with hate in 2019. It's a monster to this day, even after all the patches. The time to kill was good, the movement speeds were good, the number of attachments was crazy. Literally, the only downside was the long default reload animation. You could easily get rid of that by either running sleight of hand or an extended mag or both. It was a ridiculous gun. The trend of insane MP5s in Call of Duty started here. Black Ops Cold War. The Krig 6. This gun was amazing in basically every situation, and that's what made it so popular at every level of play. Moderate damage, moderate fire rate, extremely low recoil. So even though the time to kill wasn't the fastest, you were basically always going to land your shots, so you could afford yourself an extra second or two in that gunfight. You were almost always guaranteed to win, and that's not to say the Krig 6 had a slow time to kill, because it didn't. The time to kill was very competitive in every scenario, and since it was so easy to use on top of that, it was one of the most popular guns in the game, both for casual and competitive players. Vanguard. The Automaton. Because of the fact you could put 10 attachments on all your guns, the meta was hard to determine because you could basically make any gun in the game a complete melt machine laser beam. But looking across Reddit and YouTube, it seems like this one was the main meta rifle, at least after the STG-44. It was crazy. There were some two-shot kill builds floating around the internet that may or may not have eventually been patched. I don't know. You could kit this thing for pure power, pure accuracy, or a little bit of both. And as far as I could tell, it deserves to be called the main meta gun. If you have an argument for another one, let me know in the comments. Modern Warfare 2 2022. The TAC-56, previously known as a SCAR-L. It was a beefcake of a rifle, amazing time to kill without being too punishing on your accuracy or movement speed. Now, Modern Warfare 2 is a generally slower paced game than other CODs, where the SCAR was one that would stand out. The TAC-56, extremely capable gun, versatile. You could be a massive threat to enemy players at both close and long range. Modern Warfare 3 2023. The MCW. New version of the classic ACR, so you should probably expect it to be at the top of the fact. It featured a moderate fire rate, excellent accuracy, pretty generous damage stats, made it one of the best and most reliable guns in the game. I think Modern Warfare 3 had a pretty solid gun balance for the little bit I played it, and there weren't really a lot of bad guns that time around, but if we're talking about the best, I'm going to go with the MCW in Black Ops 6. The XM4. Still waiting on that XM4 nerf? Starting assault rifle in Black Ops 6, seen as the best gun in the game since day one. Sure, it's not quite as dominant today as it was on launch day, but still an absurd gun. Shreds up close, max range, no recoil. Amount of damage you can do with the XM4 in any situation, any combination of attachments is almost unreasonable. I would still call it the main meta gun for Black Ops 6. I mean, that's probably going to change with more patches. I get it. We're early February right now. You can argue another one if you want to, but I'm going to stick with it. There you have it. Let me know where you agree, and let me know where you disagree.